two super cool people to be on this show today, okay? So there's Yin Ping as well as Wei Shen. So just to give you guys a brief background, I knew Ping back when I was going through the programming bootcamp in Next Academy, and I always knew her as the cool, smart, pretty programmer girl, right? And so super, I'm super excited to see you take the leap and start your own thing, right? In 2018. And moving on to her co-founder, I've always known Wei Shen as this, super young high achiever, who's been a part of all sorts of accelerators and have a lot of accolades under his name, all while still studying. So that's not an excuse for you guys, right? So Ping and Wei Shen now runs Advanx Health, right? A super cool healthcare startup that helps you find more about your body and also genetics, which is something that's super cool, okay? I just want to say thanks again for being cool with coming onto the Mula Boss show, and really, it's my pleasure to have you, the both of you here, okay? So let's get this started. So before we go into you guys individually, I just want to talk a little bit more about Advanx Health,
sure.
Okay? So I checked out the website, and it says that you guys want to empower people to take charge of their health by providing a personal genomics discovery experience. Am I correct?
Yes.
So let's start with telling us more about Advanx Health. Yeah, it's open to the both of you.
Okay, so Advanx Health is basically a what we call healthcare or biotech startups, where we want to help Malaysians, we want to help people to explore their DNA, because we find there's a lot of things that we can inherit from our family, from our parents, and it's in our DNA, which all of us might not know what is in our DNA. So you want to help people to find out what is that, let's say, inner potential. Probably you have a certain potential towards a certain talent, or what is your risk of getting a certain diseases, so that you can make a preventive measure. So basically what we do is we collect your saliva and we help you to explore your DNA, and want to empower you to start using those information to make better decisions based on your lifestyle.
Wow, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a relatively new technology. Is it like stuff like this is not usually available to the mass market, right? So what changed and what happened? Like, is it because of advancements of technology that this is currently open to public access?
So this technology has been available since like 10-20 years ago. Right. So it's called a genotyping technology. It's just like genotyping.
Genotyping.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a form of technology where we extract DNA and we analyze DNA. So this technology has been available since, I would say, 2005. Right. But only recently it becomes a lot more popular because of the advancement of technology, like what you say. The cost has become lower, so that's why it can be available to the mass market. So it started to pick up the momentum since a few companies in US started to promote what we call direct-to-consumer genetic testing. Right. And they use genotyping technology, which is now cost a lot more lower compared to last time. And this is why the technology now is available for the mass market.
Interesting. So, for a business model this innovative, right? I'm sure that there was a moment where the both of you knew that, okay, this is what we're going to do, right? So what actually triggered this eureka moment and decided, okay, I'm going to spend the next few years or a lot of effort building this business? Like, what was the trigger? So
the idea comes from my side, where and Pink was. I'll share the story later. So I work as a pharmacist, I think 2016, 2017. Then I have a chance to serve the customers in the front line. Right. So one of the issues that I found out is we always wanted to understand our customer better, and our customers also want to understand themselves better. But how can we help them, and how can we help customers also understand themselves better? So the normal way we do is we ask questions like, how do you feel today? Do you have any allergies? We do blood tests. Then suddenly there's an opportunity where one of our Australian company approached my pharmacy to start promoting DNA testing. So that's the first moment when I encountered about DNA. Right. So I thought it's very interesting. You can find out whether you can have how many coffee per day, how many alcohol you can have. So then I started going to research about what is DNA, how does DNA testing works in other countries.
Right.
It doesn't do well in my pharmacy because the selling point was very high, it was about 4,000 ringgit.
Wow. Okay.
But we thought it's something very interesting, and it's definitely the future of healthcare.
Right.
So that's the eureka moment where, let's do something with DNA.
Like individualized,
Personalized
personalized healthcare.
Yeah.
Wow.
So after that, I need a co-founder which has a tech background, and preferably this co-founder also has to come from healthcare background. It's a lot more easier for us to communicate in the healthcare spaces.
Right.
And I always know Ping as like what you say, the pharmacist who know coding. The Next Academy has been promoting this to all the audiences. So
top of mind marketing.
So I test water. So I just approached Ping like, how are you doing now, and stuff like this. Then we met up in one of the cafe near Next Academy.
Right.
And that's how we actually got started.
Okay.
This so-called marriage as a co-founder.
That's cool, because you've also actually answered one of my next plan questions. I wanted to ask you, like what was the main reason why it was usually tough for people to live a healthier life? And Wei Shen mentioned that because he was in front of the front line in a pharmacy, like this is a problem that a lot of people are facing. So it's actually a validated problem.
Yes.
Right. So that's cool. Okay, so now I'd like to dig deeper and ask you guys some individual questions, since that both of you probably process the entire experience differently, right? Like it's only normal. So let's start with Ping.
Okay.
So I've done a little bit of stalking on your LinkedIn page and found out that you call yourself a programmer with a generalist approach.
Yeah.
Like, can you just tell me what that's all about,
Yeah, sure. So essentially, the way I've always identified myself is that I'm a generalist. So I like to experiment with new things. I like to dip my toes into many different things. So for example, how I learned coding with Next Academy, and then in Next Academy I also touch a bit of marketing as well.
Right.
So like all these tiny little things actually spark an interest in me, and being a generalist to me means that I don't truly go super deep into like a specific area, but I know just enough to help me with like managing companies, with working with people from different areas, from different fields. Yeah. So I think it has helped me a lot.
Cool. So are you saying that you have a lot of, you're really, really wide in terms of knowledge, but what about the depth? Like, if you could identify just one thing that you're super good at, what would it be?
So that's the thing about being a generalist, though.
Right.
It's like jack of all trades but master of none.
Right.
So that's what I think I am. There isn't one particular area that I am super duper good at, but I would say that I'm good in a few things. Yeah.
Right. So what you're trying to say is that being a generalist helps you, communicate with maybe different functions
correct.
and being able to connect with a lot more different types of people.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Because tech is usually a male-dominated industry, right? It's changing over the last few years, but I'm interested to know firsthand what it's like being a female in a male-dominated industry. Still, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. To me, honestly, I don't really feel that much of a difference. Maybe in this tech industry, there are a lot more males than females. But in terms of like opportunities, in terms of the people that I work with, I've never really been, being passed on for a better opportunity, or I've never been like discriminated because I'm a female. I've not really experienced those kind of things. The kind of environment that I've worked with have always been super supportive, super empowering. So I don't know. I can't really give.
Tell the difference. Right,
honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
What about has it helped you in any way at all? Like being a female in a male-dominated industry. I'm just curious.
Not that I notice a difference. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Fine. That's freaking awesome, because it shows that there's equality in the tech industry as well, especially in Malaysia. So
I will share a little bit on this. So I would say now, women in tech can be a privilege, because you can see a lot of conferences or a lot of tech conferences. They will specialize. We want to encourage women to be in tech.
Right.
So you get like free tickets, you get like free lounge.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I would say now it's become a lot more like an advantage. If you are like a woman, getting into tech, you can get a lot more like benefits.
Right, just a little bit more push to get you into the tech
Yeah,
industry.
it's
So
more like
girl power.
empowerment. Yeah.
Right, that's cool. So I'm also curious, what was the turning point that pushed you towards the path of entrepreneurship? I've always known you to be working at Next Academy previously, and also as I'm not sure, were you working as a pharmacist before this as well?
I was. Yeah.
So what pushed you to pursue this path? Just curious.
So when I was working as a pharmacist, I actually touched a few different types of pharmacy, I guess, if you can put it. I've been in community, I've been in hospital, I've also did a brief 6 months in pharmaceutical company. And honestly, I really enjoy working in the healthcare industry. But then when I had the opportunity to go into coding, it made me fall in love with coding as well. So I've always been on the lookout for an opportunity to marry these two skill sets or passion that I have. Right. Yeah. So when I was working in Next Academy, I think towards the end of the 2.5 years that I was there, I was a little lost. Maybe it's quarter life crisis or something, but yeah. So my ex-boss in Next Academy, there was one thing that he said. He asked me to think about what I truly want to do. So I had some time thinking about it, and then coincidentally, in this WhatsApp, so we have this WhatsApp group filled with pharmacists that knows how to code. So coincidentally, he was asking around in that WhatsApp group about this new opportunity, whether anybody would be interested in it. So that's how we got started talking about it, and that's when I made a jump and we started this together. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's a really cool story.
Yeah.
So I'd like you to pick out just one challenge that you faced. What's the biggest challenge that you faced since you've jumped into since you started your journey as an entrepreneur, right? So can you just elaborate what is it and what have you learned from it so far?
Yeah. So for me, the biggest challenge is people management. I'm not very good. I'm not really a people person, so I've always been fairly reserved. I've always been fairly quiet as well as a person. So when we do this, having to manage people, having to manage expectations, having to empower people to do better at their role, how do you keep them motivated, things like this is, I think, one of my biggest challenge. So we've been doing this for a year now, and what I've really learned about this is there's no one approach to people management. Everybody is different. Yep. So just like our DNA, so we have to, correct. We have to personalize people management as well. So that's one big thing that I've learned. Yeah.
Right. So do you think you have improved in this entire process over the past year?
Maybe a little, but I think there's still a lot more room for improvement. Yeah.
Right. So what typically drives you to improve? When it comes to running the business, what made you push yourself to improve in terms of people management?
Okay, so I think the team is very important to what we do. Maybe it's going to be the same for everywhere else. The team is the one that drives the company forward. So if the team doesn't feel motivated, if people are not driven to do better at what they do, then it's gonna affect our business. It's gonna affect how the company grows. So essentially, that is the part that truly drives us, or me, to be better at what we are doing. Yeah.
Right. Do you ever feel anxious about it when you?
Yeah, lots of times. Yeah.
Okay, because I can totally relate. Because running my own business, I quit my job at the age of 24. I didn't have anyone to manage, and when I hired my first few employees, I did not know what I was doing. Yeah. To be very honest, but because you are driven by this anxiety, you typically learn faster, and that's what I've realized.
Yeah.
So anxiety driven learning is the fastest way to learn. Okay, guys. So okay, it also goes without saying that building a startup from ground up is one of the biggest challenges in life. Right? So what kind of things do you do on your free time to retain your sanity or keep your sanity? Right?
I'm a huge movie buff, so I just watch like tons of movies.
Netflix.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite movie, like in 2019, for example? So far?
So far, I actually, since the year started, I don't think I've watched any.
Right. Right. I forgot that you're a startup founder. So what about 2018? Like your favorite movie?
Can't remember now.
Okay.
You caught me on the spot. Yeah.
No worries. So okay, last piece.
Yep.
What kind of advice can you give to aspiring female entrepreneurs, who are looking to start their own hustle and startup?
I think you should just do it, because if you've technically there's nothing to lose, I think. So just jump into it, just do it. Don't be afraid of failures, and you'll learn a lot on the way. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So that's for Ping. So now moving on to Wei Shen. First question for you. Let's start by telling us more about yourself.
So again, my name is Wei Shen, and I'm born and raised in a city called Taipei.
Okay.
We just recently internationally recognized as the third most sustainable city in the world.
Wow. Okay, I did not know that.
It was a news, I think, just released yesterday.
Right.
So yeah, I born and raised in Taipei. Then I also studied pharmacy in Penang. In University of Science Malaysia, is a local government university. Then I started my first business as a social entrepreneur. So I think that time you are my senior in Next Academy.
Yeah.
In the programming. So I was like the batch after you, and Ping was the batch after me.
Yeah.
So like 3 generations over here. so I started my business there. Then I joined Magic Accelerator program as the social enterprise itself. So after that, after I graduated, I did not want to straight away jump into pharmacy. So I worked for Faith.
Right. Yeah.
For about I think 9 months. And then mainly works on the business intelligence part, because I personally is interested in data analysis.
Right.
So I pick up analysis skills in the BI team within Faith. So after that, because I make a promise to my mom that I'm going to be work as a pharmacist after a year. So 2017, I worked for AMPM Pharmacy then as a pharmacist. Then last year, decided to start this company.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to pick up on one point. You said you promised your mom that you will work as a pharmacist. Why is that?
So because you want to become a pharmacist, you have to get the license.
Right.
So when you spend full-time study, so hard study at pharmacy, then eventually you don't get a license, and it's like hanging somewhere there. So it's like you need to complete the whole thing, then you get a license. Then after you get the license, you can do whatever you want.
Right. So that's the promise with your mom. Once you get the license, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So okay, because I can relate to this also. Like, I'm a uni graduate as well, but I decided to quit my job after 3 years, right? And then started my own thing. And then my parents were like, my mom especially was telling me like, hey, you're wasting your degree. What are you doing in your life? Blah blah. So, as entrepreneurs, as aspiring entrepreneurs, it's very important to know how to balance the expectations from other people as well as your own goals as well.
And
right?
also how to communicate with parents.
Right.
Because
I think I'm quite bad at that part.
Yeah, because my parents has always been open to a lot of things, and because I started to be very active since secondary school.
Right.
So I always had like a lot of like St. John, things like this. Then during uni, I always talk to them about startups, entrepreneurship, since when Magic started.
Right.
So I keep send information to them. This is how I communicate with my parents, and very luckily my parents are very very open.
Right.
So now they actually accept like what we are trying to do, the risk that we are taking, and the impact that we're going to create. So yeah, I'm very fortunate to have my parents.
Cool. So second question, I also did a bit of stalking on your end,
Yeah.
and I found out that you are actually undertaking a master's degree of bioinformatics.
Yes.
Right? While taking charge of Advanx Health, how do you find time to juggle between business and studies? I'm just curious.
So the reason I take this master of bioinformatics is because it is very related to what we are doing. So one of the reasons is to get myself a lot more connected to the community there. Because if let's say I can know a lot more professors, because healthcare is a big industry, but it's also a very niche industry. You need to find these people, then you need to go deep into that particular field. I would say I did not do well in my semester 1 to juggling both, because I take too much of subjects. So it's really hard to juggle masters and running a business at the moment at the same time. So this semester I decided to take a lot more lesser courses, so put a lot more effort into running startups. But like what you say, it's still hard to juggle both. It's just that which one I'm prioritizing now. So I'm more towards like running startups, and on the side I would just like go for one-day classes.
I see. Okay. So I'm an advocate by learning by experience as well. And I know that a lot of people know that already, and to be honest, I actually forgot 95% of what I learned in the university. I was an economics and finance graduate. I went into marketing, and then things just slowly went away. And I'll be frank and say that it didn't really have an impact on my life, right? So I want you to be as honest as possible and tell me, how important do you think these credentials are when it comes to running your own startup?
So I think, in my personal opinion, academic credential now is not as important as back in the days like 80s and 90s. But it's still important. Like it's a license for you to land a job interview if you want to go for like corporates jobs or work for other people. I think it's still an important thing for you to land a job interview. But after that, to me, it doesn't really mean anything, because in the job interview, it's all about your attitude, your mindset, and your soft skills. Running a startups, yes, it also can be not a important factors. But if let's say you're given a chance to go to uni, then why not? But it's just that you need to set your mind very clear, like why you go into uni. Like for myself, I spend a lot of time.
Because right now you're going deep into informatics, like related to what you're doing, right? So that, I guess that makes sense. You know, but if you don't know, I feel that if you don't know what you want to learn, it's time. If you don't know what degree to pursue, like you're lost, and this is especially for younger students, like if you don't know where your interest lies, take your time to explore first before going deep. I think that's very, very important. Don't get pressured by your friend, hey, you know, you can find better jobs with this degree. That's total bullshit in my experience, right? Okay, so moving on to the next question, I want to ask you, like in the process of building Advanx Health, which marketing channels work best for you and why?
In the beginning, we always wanted to be a direct-to-consumer channel where we sell direct-to-consumer through online, but that is not the case for our products. It's because our product is fairly new in the market, so you need a lot of nurturing, you need a lot of conversations, education. That's why I would say it's a mix of both offline and online. So in offline, we try, we don't really transact deals, but we do educations. We talk to people, we gather people around and talk about what is genomic testing, what can DNA tells you. Then that will translate into our online sales. So we don't run, let's say, online ads to convert sales, but you're more towards spreading the words out to let people know, like we exist. If you have anything, you just PM us anytime.
I see. Okay, interesting. So a little bit of a casual question. Your Facebook profile says that you're into esports and gaming, right? What sort of games do you enjoy playing? I'm a big game fan too.
Really?
I play a lot of games.
So I play games since I was in primary school. So I started playing RO, Ragnarok.
Holy shit!
So
because I play the same game.
Now, until now?
We're gonna bring this later on. Let's not talk about this now. I can go like maybe 2 to 3 hours about this, right? So you like to play like RPG kind of games, I'm assuming?
So now I'm more towards like team game strategy. So my free time I will play like Dota games. Sometimes I'll play now trying to play Apex Legends, but still don't have the time to install yet. So yeah, I always wanted to get involved in esports in any form. So previously I was looking for opportunity like how do I get into esport industry, because I think this is very interesting industry.
It is. It's growing and it's huge.
Yes, and this is one of my passion. So like imagine.
I'm passionate about it. So.
Like imagine now you can have your parents pay 9K for you to have a diploma in esports. It was our dream back then.
Yeah, but wow, like things have changed so much, hasn't it? You know, like previously, you know, gaming was seen as, you know, typical Asian parents as, oh, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy, you're sleeping late because of games, right? So, and now people has this totally different perception to esports because of the internet and because of competitions and stuff. You know what Steam, Valve they're doing, right? Which is insane. Okay, so moving on to the next question, I want to ask you, right? This is for our viewers and listeners who are still students. Okay, what advice can you give to college or university students looking to run a startup that they can potentially further build on, you know, after they're done with their studies?
So I think first is to like set your mindset very clear in universities, whereby make a lot more friends, get out to meet a lot more people from different backgrounds, because network really helps when you build up business, when you build up startups. Then upon graduating, if you are still not sure about your idea or the business, then you can try to work for other people first. Because by working for other people, you can realize how you want to perceive as an employee and how you want to behave as an employer in the future. Then, in the process of working for other people, also try to learn things from your employer, from your peers, and I think that also helps in terms of building business. So I think if you are not sure whether you want to jump into entrepreneurship, go to work for other people first. Work for startups, work for corporates. You will definitely learn something from the process. Then once you decided this is the time when I want to jump, then you just do it.
Yeah, just do it. But you know, when I was working my day job, I was working for 3 years, right? And before I quit, it felt like I was tied in to my job. I felt like, if I quit now, I lose this stable income.
Insecurity.
And yeah, the insecurity, it will get to you and it will cause you to, you know, just sit on it for a few months, and that is actually stopping you from doing what you actually want. So don't, like my advice as well, like just to add on to yours would be to, you know, forget about the fear. You know, if you're fearful, that means you will learn a lot faster, right? It's all about constantly learning and improving yourself.
Yes.
And I think actually another thing I wanted to add is for students, I think as a student you actually have a lot of time on your hands. So if you've identified a problem in your current uni or your the current space that you're in, why not try to solve it? Because you have the time. Number one, and time is probably the most valuable resource that you have at that time. So if you can do something about it, try out like solving the problem and build a business during that time, why not, you know?
So I think just to add on also, like my biggest regret in life is that I wasted my uni. After looking at Wei Shen, especially, right?
Same.
I wasted a lot of my college and uni time, you know, hanging out with friends, like partying and stuff. So I feel that that's valuable time wasted. And when you're young, you have the energy to push yourself forward, right? And now I'm 28. I'm not super old, but I'm starting to feel, you know, drained after a long day of work. I don't have the energy that I used to when I was maybe like 21 or 22 years old, right? So take time as your most valuable resource, and it doesn't matter how old you are, and especially if you're a college and university student, right?
Yeah,
so
just to add on last thing. So my parents told me before, uni is the best time for you to make mistakes, because you won't get punished like very hard. So it's the best place for you to fail a lot. Then you can learn a lot more faster. When you come out to work, the mistakes is a lot more costly, and we have a lot more commitments. Like during younger time, you don't have much commitments, then you can get like freely just to do anything you want.
Correct. Totally agree with that. That's super sage advice. Okay. So okay guys, like that because of the time we actually have to end this interview now, I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thanks
as well as Wei Shen for being cool enough to come on to the Brunei Boss Show, and I hope that this interview would inspire you guys to explore and look for something that you really want to do in your life. Okay? See you in the next episode. Bye guys.
Bye.
Okay guys, I just want to say thank you to our guests from Advanx Health again. If you're interested in knowing yourself better and knowing your body better, check out their websites www.advanxhealth.com. Check out their website. It's super cool technology. If you want to understand what kind of nutrients you need for your body, like what's your caffeine metabolism, what's your alcohol metabolism rate, to better take care of your body, definitely check them out. Okay, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye guys.